Hi, I'm Danu. Welcome to 7 yoga poses you can do at your desk. So if you're anything like me, once you start working away on a computer, you lose all track of time and you don't realize some of the uncomfortable positions that you've been in until you stop working and find all of these sore muscles, or you try to go home at the end of your workday and realize that you're completely tightened up and feeling sore. So this little sequence is something that you can do at your desk. You could do it anywhere from 1 to 3 times a day. And I usually try to sequence my little stretch breaks right around a bathroom break so that I remember to do them. So either before or after, a washroom break. So let's just get right into it. First position we're going to start with is called cat, angry cat and purring cat. And often this is done on your hands and your knees, but today we'll do it sitting in a chair. So bringing your hands to your knees. On your inhale, you're going to arch your back, look up, lift your chin away from your chest. On your exhale, tuck your chin into your heart, round your back, push your knees away. And again, on an inhale, head lifts, heart comes forward, back arches. Exhaling, rounding, chin tucks in. And again, inhaling. Such a great way to get any of the tension that we're holding sort of in most of the major muscles in our back to start to release. This is creating some circulation, some blood flow. Let's do 2 more. You really want to move to whatever your full range of motion is. Of course, being mindful, not pushing, but just allowing yourself to really feel a stretch here. Good, and then just coming to a neutral spine. So our next stretch is going to work on our hips. So your hip, butt, and IT band area through here, this tightens up from sitting in chairs. And here's a simple stretch you can do at your desk to relieve some of that tension. You're going to first just go ahead and cross your right leg over your left. You want to clear your knee, and then you're going to draw your toes back so that the muscles of the lower leg are engaged. And then from here, with your mind, never your hand, you're going to push your knee down a little bit. So it's never a good idea to do this with your hand. And now most people are going to feel a noticeable stretch right here. This is going to be a noticeable stretch through the hip, butt, IT band area. If it's not for you, if you're quite flexible, you could start to fold yourself forward a little bit until you find that stretch. Most people, however, will not need to do this. Most of us are going to be fine right here. And you can hold this anywhere from 4 to 12 breaths, depending on how much time you have. You could even do it for up to 2 minutes, so there's a lot of play there as far as how long you can hold these. Good, and then just release. Do the same on the other side. Left leg comes across this time, and then making sure that your ankle has cleared your knee, drawing your toes back, and with your muscles, descending that knee down. If you're having a have mercy moment here, please stay here. For those of you who are quite open in the hips, you may need to lean forward. But again, this is, not the norm for most people. Most people will get a stretch right here. We always want to make sure that we're working with the stretch that we already have before we try to go deeper. Anywhere, again, in your own time, anywhere from 4 to 12 breaths, or even up to 2 minutes. If you wanted to set a timer and do this for a couple minutes, that wouldn't be too much either. And then go ahead and release. Good. Now bringing the knees wide apart, turning your toes out and bringing your heels so they're underneath your knees. From here, you're just going to draw your knees back. So I'm pushing my knees back to the wall behind me. And again, I'm just resting my hands on my legs. I'm not using my hands to do any of this work. And most of you will feel a stretch right here. Inner thigh, or could be work in the outer hip. Either one will take. For those of you who don't feel this, if you're quite flexible, you might not get this. You might have to start to, again, fold forward. The fullest version of this pose being hands on the floor. Very few people are going to need to come that far forward. So again, just timing with your breath. Could be, You know, again, anywhere from 4 to 12 breaths here. And then slowly bringing your legs back in. Good. So we'll move on to a little bit of work for the shoulders and the back and the neck. Starting with cowboy surrender. So bringing your arms up, or officer don't shoot, whichever one, to 90-degree angles. This is your inhale. On your exhale, you're going to bring your arms down. Make sure you're keeping that nice 90-degree angle. So it's not important that the hands come super far down, but you want to keep the shape of the pose. It's a big work for the shoulders. This doesn't look like much, but if you're doing this with good form, you will notice it. Again, you inhale as you bring the arms up. Exhale as you bring them down. Let's do one more of those. Good. And then bringing your arms up, extending your arms. Give yourself a big hug with your right arm on top. Crossing the elbows. Some people might stay right here, so if you're quite tight in your upper back and you feel a stretch, stay here. If you don't get much here, you can start to bring the arms up. As long as the elbows are crossed, we're good. If you can't bring the hands together, pausing here. For those of you who can, wrapping the arms up completely. Big stretch for the upper back in between your shoulder blades. Taking a few breaths here, letting the shoulders draw down your back. Making sure that your shoulders are drawing down your back and that your wrists are right over your elbows. And again, you could do 4 to 12 breaths. This one you could actually even time. You could do a minute if you wanted to, if you're quite tight here. And then release and stretch your arms out. Good. Other side. Left arm on top this time. Again, draw the shoulders down. Deep breaths. Making sure the hands are right above the elbows, so don't let the hands start to move in towards the face. And again, 4 to 12 breaths. And then releasing and opening up again. Good. And bringing your hands to your lap. So doing a little stretch here for the neck. You're going to go ahead and bring your right ear over towards your right shoulder. And you may have to move your chin a little bit, up or down here to sort of find. Once you find a spot, just pausing there in stillness. Take a few breaths here. Now, if you feel like this is opened a little bit, you can hold on to the side of your chair with your hand. If you're still having a really strong stretch, then stay here at this position. But for those of you who want or need a little more, holding the chair and maybe even leaning away a little bit. But again, you'd want to make sure that those first 2 surface or initial stretches had softened before you went this deep. Slowly bring your hand to your lap. Keep your head where it is. Take your right hand to your head and use your hand to help you lift your head up. Okay, we'll do the other side. So, bringing the ear over to the shoulder. You can again move your chin up and down, finding a little spot there. When you find your spot, pausing in stillness. If you feel like this is opened a little bit, go ahead and hold the chair seat. If you're still having a strong experience, stay right here with the hands on the lap. And then for those of you who really want to up the ante a little, if you really aren't feeling much much in the neck, you could lean away. Again, this is the most intense version. Please make sure that the other two are totally comfortable and doable before you evolve this any further. And then bringing your hand back up, sitting up but keeping the head where it is, and taking your left hand to the left side of your head and bringing your head back. Okay, one final pose here at our desk. So a twist. Twists are great for releasing tension in the muscles of our back. So you want to make sure you have space behind you on the chair, and you're going to lengthen your spine and start to turn your heart towards the right. Make sure you keep your even. What will tend to happen is one knee will fall in or out. You want to keep them exactly where they are. And as you turn your heart and your chest, you're then going to go ahead and take your left hand to the outside of your right leg, keeping the knee aligned, bringing the right hand behind you anywhere that you can on the chair, and using that to support you to sit up tall, and then turn your heart a little bit more. A couple more breaths. Checking your head, making sure the chin is softly over the chest, that we're not pulling our head to look over our shoulder. So the neck can be relaxed. Good, and then release and come back to the center. And we'll do the other side. So lengthening your spine first, turning your heart to the left. Go ahead and take your left hand behind you, right hand to the outside of the leg, but keep that shape and make sure this leg doesn't start to bend in. And sit up tall and turn. Again, sitting up tall and turning. And then watching your head again, keeping the chin centered over the chest, letting the neck be relaxed. And releasing and coming back to center. So there you go, 7 yoga poses you can do at your desk. Again, I would schedule this right after a washer break so that you make sure you get it done during the day to keep your back and your spine and your neck comfortable and relaxed. And this will help to prevent a lot of back problems as well as elbow and wrist issues that we get from doing a lot of keyboard work. So I hope that was helpful. Enjoy. Namaste.